don't care. I'll defend a Dominican girl because I see myself in her every time, and I'm not going to apologize for that. That's just what my truth is. Things that Love Island has shown me in the episodes I've seen it is I didn't realize how much of my personality is truly not my own and instead is cultural, right? And then watching the show and like watching like Amaya, for example, and now this season Melanie be kind of misunderstood and taken out of context and like in a way that I can understand and relate to, and then suddenly realize like, oh my God, my abrasiveness is just cultural. Like I never realized, like I just assumed that was me. Like I'm just an aggressive and abrasive person. And now watching their situations, I'm like, no, my God, it's like a cultural thing. Like Dominican people, specifically Dominican women, are just aggressive and abrasive. Like that's just who we are. I think Love Island does a good job when it's picking people from all of these different corners of the world, the country obviously, but the world as well, from all of these different cultural backgrounds, explaining to us how we exist within the cultural context of it and how the rules for what, like how every culture has all of these different unspoken rules and the rules for what is appropriate and what is acceptable changes within culture, but yet we hold everyone we meet to the standards that we have. Like a good example of that to me is Gabriel and the way that Gabriel is being received by most American people, right? And the conversation I'm seeing online about him, of people being like, he's too freaked out, he's too overly like sexual, and like we don't like it, it's kind of turning us off, it's making us uncomfortable. And he's Brazilian, and if I'm comparing that to, like, I've never been to Brazil, but if I'm comparing that to the stories I see online of the girls who are visiting Brazil, and they're talking about the men there, and the girls are telling stories about being like, you show up and you leave the airport, and like the first day you walk down the street, you meet a guy, if you make eye contact with him, he will try and kiss you, right? It's like the stories I've seen from like a bunch of girls telling stories about when they visited Brazil and it being like that, right? And like a Brazilian, correct me if that's wrong and someone is over exaggerating, but that's a story I've seen a bunch of different times. And what that tells me is that that kind of physical touch and like affection is very common in like that specific culture. And I'm not surprised by that because in certain parts of like Latin culture, people can be a lot more affectionate, a lot more touchy. Again, with the whole Amaya thing last season of her calling him babe, and babe, like right away, right? And like I'm Dominican, I grew up around that same culture where like when you saw someone, you call them love, you call them lovey, you call them sweetheart immediately. And it does not mean that you're married, you're gonna be together. It's just part of the culture of how people speak. People are just affectionate with their words. Like American culture that I would argue is a little bit more reserved when it comes to like showing affection to people who you are not romantically involved with, right? And like kind of being a little bit more to ourselves and like less touchy. I think I would argue that that's what American culture is like. It can be kind of a shock when you meet people from other culture and they're immediately touchy, immediately kissy, immediately sweetheart, immediately babe, and we're like, you have issues. Like, why would you do that? I think an easier way to compare this so that people can understand is like regional in the United States, right? And like we've seen the videos, people being like, this is what it's like in the West Coast versus in the East Coast, right? And people have talked about how in the West Coast, everyone is like very nice, everyone is very polite, and it's kind of difficult to read people, versus on the East Coast, everyone is very aggressive and like brutally honest. I'm an East Coast girly, and I think mixing that, this idea of like being more rah, 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 because that's how us East Coast women are, right? And then you add that with just like the Dominican kind of culture of like not holding your tongue and being like, say whatever the fuck you want. And those two things combined create a very specific kind of atmosphere that can be very jarring to someone who's never come across it before. Like Melanie being an East Coast girl from Philadelphia and also being Dominican, like I'm sorry, I don't think she's wrong. I don't think that she's wrong. I think I would argue that her hostility towards Kata is a little bit over the top and unnecessary. But even then, I think that she addressed that, right? Where it was like, Kata came in as a bombshell, and the first thing that she did, it wasn't Kata's fault, obviously. Sincere pulled her, but that was the first thing that happened. Especially one of the things you have to expect as a bombshell coming in is that there are already these established couples, and you are coming, your sole purpose is to break these couples up. So you have to expect that that's going to create a little bit of tension, right? That's going to have the people who are in those couples be like, hey, yo, what the fuck, right? There's no way that Kata didn't expect at least a little bit of backlash when she came in from somebody. And then afterward, the challenge, Melanie coming up to her and being like, it's okay. Like, it wasn't like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just had to do it to be funny, but now it's over. Like, it's over and it's done with. I'm cool. I don't care anymore. Then afterward, when she got into a little spat and like walked away from the girls at the fire pit at the little circle thing, and then like needed somebody to talk to and like asked Kata, hey, can I pull you for a chat? I just need to vent really quickly. And Kata being like, no, I don't want to talk to you. To me is weird. Like it's just, you're just a little bit over the top. Like, if this girl hated you the way you're making it seem, like you and her are mortal enemies, I don't think she would have tried to pull you for a chat as a way to just like vent and talk. I think if I'm in this game and I'm coming in as a bombshell, I'm going to expect a little bit of friction. And the first moment that anybody, not just Melanie, anybody gave me an opening to be like, hey, come, can I talk to you, as a way to try and create a bond, because these girls already know each other and I'm brand new here, I would take it. I would be like, all right, fucking take it, as a way to kind of like smooth things over and like trying to assimilate in the house. Do I think Melanie was wrong for mid-conversation that they're having a group conversation and pulling Corbin for a chat while they're in the middle of a group? Yeah, I do think that like that was crazy. Like, I definitely did think that you could have waited. You could have waited a minute for sure. Like, why would you cut everybody off? Like, oh, can we go for a chat? Like, I think that was crazy. But in the same breath, I don't think that Melanie was doing it to be funny to the rest of the girls. I just think that in her mind, she has her mind set on getting her lick back on Sincere, right? Like, that's all she cares about, is getting her lick back on Sincere. And she's like, if I'm going to do it, here's my one chance to do it. Let me get ahead of the rest of the girls so I can get my chance to do it. Like, addressing her and being like, hey, we just thought that was crazy, like that was kind of rude, like you seem like you went over the top and you did a lot, and like, yes, we all have to chase over the same guys, we don't have to step on each other like that. To me, that conversation was perfectly fine. But I think that once you addressed her and she was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean it like that, you know? Like, again, what I said about being aggressive and abrasive, it's a Dominican thing. So the minute that she was just like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean for it to come off like that. I didn't mean to cut you off. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, that's just how I talk to people. That's just how I do things. Once she said that and then apologized, to me, that should have been the end of it, right? Like, you wanted her to take responsibility and acknowledge that she did it. And she humbly, like, if she was trying to argue with you and be like, no, I didn't do that. No, you're being too sensitive. She didn't say any of that. All she said was, yeah, you're right. Like, and she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. If I did that, it wasn't my intention. That should have been the end of it. And instead, to me, Beatrice was trying to like low sis her. She was like, don't ever fucking do that again. That's the vibe that she was giving, where she was like, you need to check yourself and make sure you don't ever, and I don't think it ever called for that, especially because she wasn't even doing it to you. So I just don't think that like your attitude and how aggressive you were being about it, and after she apologized like twice, and you kept doubling down with how aggressive you were being about it, yeah, that shit would have had me hot. Because like, who the fuck are you talking to? Melanie turned her whole body towards Trinity and looked Trinity in the eyes and said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. And yet Beatrice is still over here running her mouth and talking shit. No, that shit would have had me tight, because who the fuck are you talking to? I am a person who, again, like, people all the time will be like, oh my God, that was so aggressive and so rude. Why would you say that? And I'll be like, oh my God, like, was that aggressive and rude? Like, I didn't mean for it to come off as like, was that how it came off? And I will quickly apologize. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, that's genuinely not how I meant it. Like, it just came out. In my mind, I thought it came off very casually and easy, but I guess it came off aggressive. Like, I will quickly apologize. But if I apologize and offer you that apology and you're doubling down with your attitude, then I'm gonna catch an attitude. Because like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, if you thought that was aggressive before, I could show you aggressive. I can show you, you don't have to worry about it. I can show you aggressive. I just feel like once Melanie offered her the apology, once Melanie offered everybody in the room the apology and was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean like that, like, right? And like, that to me should have been the end of it, but instead you kept doubling down with your attitude. So yeah, no, my answer would have been like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? I just feel bad. I just feel like she's really misunderstood. Like, even with the whole Sincere thing, with people being like, she's too attached. Do I think that she's too attached? For sure. Like, you should not be closed off like this and him like by fucking day 3. I don't think so at all. But do I think Sincere was innocent in the way that he went about it? No. And do I understand why she was upset? Yeah, of course I do. Like, if he was going to pull Kata for a chat, he could have easily pulled Melanie off to the side and warned her beforehand. Like, hey, we discussed that we were still open because it's so early on in the game. So I am interested in pulling other people and like talking to the people. And I think you should do the same, you know? And instead, he didn't say anything to her, didn't talk to her all fucking day, pulled another girl for a chat and tried to pretend nothing happened. And you wouldn't be mad about that? Acting like she has no reason to be mad is crazy. And then also acting like she's being dramatic for having an attitude with Kata is also crazy, because when Corbin just came into the house, right, and all the girls kind of like admitted, or he snitched that the girls all made out with him, every dude in that fireplace had an attitude with him and was talking shit about him, right? Like, they were all talking shit about him. They're rolling their eyes at the circle, and they all went to their confessionals and said and talk shit about him. One of the guys was even like, fuck him, I don't want to talk to him. So how come when the guys do it, it's okay, it's not a big deal, but when Melanie does it, she's a monster for hating Kata? And this is what the purpose of being a bombshell is. It is to start shit. It is to get people to not like you. That's literally what the purpose of it is. So how come people get villainized and suddenly they don't like them? And do I think that Kata and Melanie need to beef? No, I don't, not at all. But I think with the whole thing that happened with Kata, and then right afterward, the whole thing with Beatrice is just kind of setting up the house for like everyone to gaslight Melanie and make it seem like Melanie's the problem. Where I'm just like, I just don't think that she's that wrong. Like, she hasn't been perfect and has misstepped here and there, but I definitely think that her actions are being blown way out of proportion already.